Hi friends, it's Lauren Taylor. Thanks for joining me in my craft room today. I'm so happy to have you here because we're celebrating the brand new release from Pretty Pink Posh. I'm absolutely loving all of the spring things that are in this new release, especially the butterflies. So we're going to use quite a few different products today, all with butterflies involved in some way. I'm going to start with an inky background. So I'm going to use some distress oxides and we're going to go across diagonally on this panel. It's cut slightly larger than an A2 size, so I can use the butterfly cover plate to cut it out without worrying about making sure all of my corners are lined up perfectly. So I started with scattered straw in the middle. For some reason, I was thinking that was the middle color when it should have been green. You'll see me realize it right there in that weird pause, but that's okay. Our rainbow is going to be just slightly different. So I'm going back and forth between scattered straw and cracked pistachio for my yellow and my green. For the blue, I'm using tumbled glass and I'm just going to fill in that last little corner. I think I need to get some refills for my tumbled glass. This is one of the oldest colors that I have in Distress Oxide and it's starting to get a little hard to get some ink out of it. So again, just like I did with the scattered straw and cracked pistachio, now I'm going between cracked pistachio and tumbled glass to try and get a nice blend. It doesn't have to be perfect because I will use a cover plate to cut it out, and it's going to be hard to tell if the blend isn't, 100%, but I am doing my best to try and get a nice blend between my colors. Now going the other way on my diagonal, I'm going into pink and I'm using Kitsch Flamingo and I'll blend between those two. It creates actually a really pretty orange between the scattered straw and the Kitsch Flamingo. It looks really nice. I like it a lot. And then finally, I will bring in Dusty Concord as my other corner. That's the color I wanted on, next to blue, but it works out really nicely, I think, next to the pink. It gives it a traditional yet non-traditional rainbow vibe, which I'm happy with. So I'll finally go in between those two colors, the Kitsch Flamingo and Dusty Concord, to get a nice blend there. And once I'm pretty happy how everything is looking, I will pick up all my inks and clean off my glass board. And then I'm bringing in my Pearl Color Pigment watercolors and using this white kind of opaque watercolor to splatter a bunch of splatter on this panel, and I will let that dry. You can see how pretty that shine is, and of course clean my board again before I get ink and watercolor everywhere. I'm using the butterfly cover plate to cut out my cover plate, but I'm going to save all of these butterflies because they're beautiful and can go on another card. For the background of my panel, I thought I would be fun and different and use craft cardstock instead of white like I normally do for my stenciling. And I'm using the new butterfly lattice stencil, so cute. I think it also complements really well with the new floral kind of lattice stencil that's also being released. I did do a sneak peek of that stencil on the Pretty Pink Posh blog, so hopefully you saw that. And for the first layered stencil, which has the adorable butterflies, I brought in that Kitsch Flamingo onto the craft cardstock. And then I am bringing in Shark Tooth White from Ink on 3 to be the white ink through the lattice details of the second stencil. And look how pretty that is. I love white on craft. I think it's so pretty, and Distress Oxides are perfect for craft paper as well. I'm going to trim this panel to fit behind my A2 cover plate die cut, so I just trim that to be actually slightly smaller than an A2. That's just in case I don't get it lined up perfectly. I don't have to worry about my edges being straight and then having to trim off anything that shows past the front cover plate when I make my shaker. To add a little bit of details to my butterflies, I'm going to use one of the little butterfly bodies from the Stitch Butterfly set. It's the smallest one, and I'm going to cut 6 of them out of this fun, crazy holographic cardstock in my stash. I also cut a panel, again, slightly smaller than A2 of acetate. So let's go ahead and start assembling our shaker together. I'm using some 1/4-inch double-sided adhesive to completely cover all 4 sides of my butterfly cover plate, and I also did 2 pieces through the center across in between those butterflies. I guess not center, it's more like thirds, but I wanted to make sure that my acetate was nice and secure to my front panel. Then I'll go ahead and grab my foam adhesive. I'm using the 1/8 strips from scrapbook.com in the new 3mm thickness, and I'm just grabbing 2 strips at a time, and I'm going to add it to all 4 sides on the back of my panel, making sure anytime I have to cut and add another set of strips that they are snug up against each other so my little shaker bits don't go anywhere. And then I decided to create 3 shaker windows, kind of similar to how I added my double-sided adhesive. I also added foam strips as well. I'm making my own little custom shaker mix by combining the brand new Spring Butterflies mix, which is a clay confetti, which also inspired the colors that I chose for my Distress Oxides, along with the Springtime Shaker beads. Again, these colors are just so complementary, they work perfect together. So I filled up my 3 little shaker windows, and now I'm taking my craft stenciled background to close up my shaker panel, making sure to really press and have a great seal where I have all of that foam adhesive. I'll go ahead and grab my A2 card base. This is a top folding A2 card base out of some white cardstock. I'm going to use my super scotch tape runner here to make sure it's attached to my card base very securely, as it is an interactive card and it's a little heavy. I want to make sure I have a nice adhesion to my card base. Now it's time to glue our little butterflies together. I'm going to use my reverse grip tweezers and my little precision glue gun tool to add liquid adhesive behind each of my little butterfly bodies, and I'm going to have to hold it there for a second, make sure it attaches since a lot of it is adhering to acetate. I just want to take my time and apply pressure and make sure that all of those little butterfly bodies will stay secure on my card. For my sentiment, I'm grabbing the Happy Spring Shadow dies. This is from a previous release, and I'm going to die cut the word Happy Spring from that same holographic foil cardstock paper that I did for the butterfly bodies, and then I die cut the shadows out of vellum. I really want to make sure that you can really see all of that beautiful ink blending colors. I didn't want to cover anything up, so that's why I decided to use vellum as the shadow. I added a little bit of liquid adhesive behind the thin Happy Spring sentiments. I probably could have done myself a favor and made these stickers with some double-sided adhesive sheets, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and attach that to my vellum shadow. There's also the little tittle of the eye. I want to make sure I get that glued down before I lose it. So instead of adding the adhesive on the back of my holographic tittle of the eye, I'm adding it to the shadow and then just using a jewel picker to help put that in place. I'll repeat that process for the word happy, and then now let's add our adhesive to the back of our words to add to the card. Since I use vellum, I had to be very careful about my glue placement again. So I have it on the back of spring, and I'll go ahead and glue that in between my 2 bottom rows of butterflies. And then I'll just do that all over again for the word happy and adhere that in between the top 2 rows. Here's a look at my fun rainbow butterfly shaker card with lots of fun elements like the little shaker beads and butterflies, and of course that holographic paper. I hope you had fun creating with me today. Check out the brand new release from Pretty Pink Posh down below in my description box, and you can see everything that I used to make this card as well. Let me know what your favorite product is from the release. I'd really love to know. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll click like, and if you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe and come back. As always, you can find everything I use down below in the description box. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye!